The Pentagon also exposed to COVID-19. Senior officials there now self-quarantining after Coast Guard Vice Commandant Charles Ray tested positive. NBC News Pentagon correspondent Courtney Kube joins me now. Courtney, we have an outbreak at the White House. At least 3 senators are also confirmed positive. Now you're reporting military leaders are in quarantine. What is the latest from the Pentagon? Who is infected? Who is affected by this news?
So the only person we know so far who is definitely tested positive is the Vice Commandant of the Coast Guard, as you mentioned, Admiral Charles Ray. The concern, though, is he tested positive today. Last Friday, so only a couple of days ago, there was a tank meeting. That is a classified meeting in a room in the building that's commonly referred to as the tank. It's a room with no windows. It is relatively small, and we know there were at least 9 people who were in there. That's not including what they call sort of the backbenchers, the more junior military aides and assistants who would have been in there as well. Well, one of the people in there was, in fact, Charles Ray. On the chance that he actually was infected with coronavirus and potentially was contagious on Friday, everyone who was in that room is now in self-quarantine. Several of the members, we're talking nearly the entire Joint Chiefs of Staff, plus others, including General Paul Nakasone, the head of the NSA, someone who was sitting in for General Berger, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, the Assistant Commandant. So a number of officials, of senior military officials, are now in self-quarantine. Some of them have tested negative since then, but they're not going to come back, according to the defense and military officials who I spoke with, until they have several days of negative tests. What this illustrates, though, Allison, is exactly what we've been seeing from what's going on just across the river at the White House, that when you have someone who is in a crowd with senior officials, like these senior military officials, it can quickly spread, and the impact can be almost staggering. Again, only one person is tested positive, but right now there is the very real potential that the entire Joint Chiefs of Staff were potentially infected by this, Allison.
So let's talk about the concerns that this raises, Courtney. I mean, you hear the commander-in-chief has COVID. Officials from the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the National Guard are all quarantining, and it raises questions about national security, the readiness of our military. What is the Pentagon saying about that and about any other precautions the Defense Department's taking here?
So the reality is, despite the fact these are the most senior leaders in the military and at the Pentagon, there is redundancy that's built into place. So, for starters, every one of these, they're all men, actually, every one of these men has the ability to work from home because they have SCIFs or secure environments and phone lines and everything in their homes, so that they can continue to work, assuming that they don't get too sick, that they can't. But there's also redundancy in the fact that every one of them has a deputy. It's the military leaders, but it doesn't destroy the entire structure of the military. So, they're not. The military isn't going to stop operating because of this. But it's a combination of the optics of it. Imagine you're an adversary and you're looking across the ocean and say, wow, their entire military leadership may be sick. They're all older men. There's the potential that if someone is sick here, that he could get very sick, when you just consider the numbers. So if you're an adversary, wouldn't you think maybe I'll try to exploit this right now? And I think that's one of the biggest concerns. That's what officials who I've been speaking to, that's what they're really concerned about, is that some adversary might try to take advantage of this time with all of these senior U.S. leaders being sick and do something, Allison.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.